We are talking bedrooms today, and if you've been wanting a bedroom that feels lived in, calmed, and beautifully layered, I'm sharing the 5 things that have made the biggest difference in ours. And the best part, most of them are small, inexpensive changes that you can start today. Welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Claire. My husband and I have designed and renovated homes for over 10 years across 3 continents, and we are now designing and renovating our own home, and we are taking our time. This channel is all about slow renovations, collected homes, and real life living. So if you're looking to create a cozy lived-in home that reflects you, then welcome home. Today I'm going to share with you my 5 tips to create a beautifully collected bedroom. Now, our bedroom is not finished. Most of our house is not finished, and the reason for that is because we are all about slow renovations. Decorating your home means that you are buying everything quickly and you're putting it all together before you've had an opportunity to really live in the space that you've just created, and before you've had that opportunity to really source items that speak to you. We're not about fast renovations and quick styling and quick turnover and copying every trend out there. We are all about creating a home that reflects you, your family, your life. When you live in an old home like we do, architecture is your biggest asset. It is the way you can really bring any of your rooms to life. And if you have a more modern aesthetic, you can add architectural details. Don't be afraid to change things up. Likewise with older homes. So there was originally a walkway that took you from the hallway into this bedroom. We actually closed that up and we replaced the opening with original VJs. This is really important, that you can change the floor plan of an old home while still honoring the original architecture and making it a feature within the house. I'm going to point out a few of the features in our room just to showcase some of the things that we have brought to life. First of all, these original windows, they're absolutely stunning. They're casement windows. We actually, even though we do have a new extension on our old house, we have found the same windows to add to the extension, so externally it all looks streamlined and consistent. And we have just sanded these back and painted them, and they make a beautiful feature. I will eventually put some sheer curtains on either side of the window without encroaching on the actual casements. I really like natural light and I enjoy waking up to natural light, so I have no problems. I don't want heavy curtains or blinds in our room. Although we did add modern recessed lights to our room, the only lights we really use in here are these beautiful vintage side lights. These were in the original bathroom of the house. It's a milk glass. They're absolutely stunning in a skyscraper design. And I found the second one on Marketplace. It took me a long time to figure out what I wanted in this space. I knew I wanted the hang down side lights that we can access from the side of the bed. So both of us have a switch. So that when you're in bed, it's practical, but it still honors the beauty of the original light. We just I painted this using a hammered brass paint, and then this is the original milk glass, and they're absolutely stunning. I just think they add so much warmth and character to the space. And once again, it's something that is collected. It's something that not everyone has in their house. And if they do have it in their house, they probably don't use it like this. So I just love how it creates a really unique design. It just feeds in beautifully with the architecture of the room. Thirdly, I think the key to really creating a collected home is collecting items, and that is not necessarily buying everything brand new or from the same store. So this bed set did have side tables. We actually, when I bought this bed, I did buy the side tables, but when I put this room together, I just was like, oh, just didn't want it all to match. I think to have a home that spoke to me, that felt collected, it needed to have some unique items. So these side tables, I actually found when we lived in America. We thrifted these. From what we understand, they are older, they're wood, and I just painted them. I love the scallop details. And I know that there's no drawer to hide mess, but I did find this really cute basket that I thrifted, and I just think they add so much to the room. I painted them, I distressed them, and then I just used a furniture wax to finish it all off. My tables do match, but it's all about what speaks to you. And for me, this just worked perfectly in this space and this room and with this bed. Tip number 4 is adding meaningful decor. So let me share with you, we have this beautiful wooden floor in here. This is one of the original features that we had in our house. It's 100 years old. We did stain it black, and it is black throughout the entire house. That is so that we could tie in the new extension with the old extension, but I love how much drama this brings to the room. As you'll notice, we don't actually have a rug under our bed. And I do agree that rugs anchor a space and bring so much warmth to the bedroom. And I probably will add one at some point. But this is what I mean when I say a collected home takes time. It's slow renovation, it's slow design, and it's picking items that truly speak to you and that make sense in the room. So I could go out and buy side tables, a rug, and have it all ready to go like the minute we move in here. But honestly, it would kind of feel more like a Pinterest board as opposed to our bedroom. So for me, I would prefer just to let the room marinate and get a feel for it, get a sense of kind of the direction of the design that I want. Do I want to bring in a more modern rug versus something that is a little bit more vintage and speaks to the age of the home? You know, you can have a really juxtaposition as far as like the design goes, but it just needs to speak to you. And I just think collect and take your time as opposed to rushing it. And following all the trends. I also added some plants beside the bed. I think greenery is a really great way to bring life and energy into your space, especially in the bedroom. And they're low maintenance. All I do is in the mornings, any water that I have beside my bed that's left over from the night before, I tip it into the plant so it stays watered. And I just think it just adds a pop of color and life to the bedroom. I've also chosen to style with some vintage books. Now, I don't actually read these books. Not everything has to be practical. If you follow me, you know I love vintage books. I think they add so much warmth and character to a space, and I always decorate. Most rooms in my house has vintage books in it, and most of which I would never read, but they just add so much color and depth and texture to a space. I love styling with them. I've also mixed in some old and new here, and don't be afraid to do that. So this beautiful marble tray here and this lovely vintage basket. So I'm using this vintage basket to hide all of my hand creams, you know, bits and pieces I use before bed, some lip balms, those sorts of things. So they're sort of tucked away out of sight. And then I use this lovely marble tray, which is much more modern, and I just have my little jewelry stand and some castor oil, which I use on my hands in the evening. I also added this handmade wall decor. We have a lavender garden in our backyard, so I have just picked these. I pressed them. It took me about 60 days for them to fully dry and press, and then I just added them to frames. And so it's really simple, really elegant. And it goes with pretty much every color bedspread that I have. It's really neutral, but I just love the fact that it's from our garden. And you could do this with any plant, any flower, any sort of greenery that dries nicely. Some of them do brown, so it's a bit of a trial and error scenario, but it works out beautifully. And finally, my last tip is small changes can make a big impact. And part of that could be as simple as changing out your bedding. I don't buy a lot of bedding. I tend to invest in bedding. I think good quality linens can really go a long way to making your room feel luxurious. And so for that reason, I don't follow trends as far as, you know, the colors and bits and pieces. I just buy bedding that speaks to me. So I have 4 doona covers, but ultimately invest in good quality bedding that makes you feel good, because sleep is just so important. And it also really helps to elevate the space. And you could have one bedspread. You don't have to have multiple bedspreads, but you could change out some throw cushions, add a different color throw cushion or throw rug, and it completely would change up the space for you. Or you can change out your plants, you can for the seasons. So you don't need to go crazy. You don't need to spend a lot of money to completely transform a space like your bedroom. You can just make 3 small changes, like changing out the bedding, changing out your throw rug, changing out your throw rug on the bedding, or changing out your throw pillows. Any of those changes will completely transform a space. Before I sign off today, I thought I would share with you the door that goes nowhere currently. So this will eventually be our powder room, and as you can see, we have a lot of spaces in our home which are about 80 to 90% finished. Behind this door is 100% not finished. We did find some thrifted arch doors and we built this archway specifically for them. They're going to be pocket style doors and I'll be sharing that with you in a future episode. But I did want to highlight this because I do feel like there's a sense that everything is finished, everything is perfect, when really it's not. And the whole point of a slow renovation is that it takes time, and to take some of that pressure and overwhelm off you, that you have to have everything finished and done like that. Whereas having a home that is collected gives you room to breathe, to live in this space and really find your unique design style that speaks to you. So hopefully this has given you some ideas for your bedroom, especially if you're wanting to change things up. Maybe your room is feeling a little bit clinical or a little bit too decorated and you're really wanting it to feel more collected. So if this was helpful and you want to see more like this, make sure to hit like and subscribe. I'm aiming to share one video a month in my Collected Home series, which will basically share some tips and inspiration on how you can create a home that is more reflective of you and feels more collected versus being decorated. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video.